and India have become synonymous globally. Many women say that they would not visit India because of the threat of rape. The Nirbhaya rape case brings back the flashbacks of the horrific incident. People expected a positive change in laws and its implementation. But the long wait for justice for Nirbhaya showed that the journey for quick justice has not begun yet. Since then, the 8-year-old girl in Kathua rape case, or 11-year-old girl in Surat, or a 12-year-old girl in West Delhi are cases still languishing in court. This clearly depicts the failure of the law and the justice system. The current laws and the justice system are incapable of deterring the culprits from committing such crimes. Rape as an act cannot be forgotten with silence. The need of the hour is to make the laws more stringent and keep a vigilant eye to check out the tardiness in delivering justice to the victim. This is Aditi Dubey for It Matters for Democracy News Live.
With ruptured intestines and a fractured skull, a teen girl was hospitalized in a critical condition in All India Institute of Medical Sciences in New Delhi on August 6, 2020. The doctors had to carry out 2 surgeries to save the little girl. It seemed injury was inflicted through foreign objects, said the doctors. When we come across incidents such as these, it makes us wonder about the 2 worlds that we live in. In the first one, women are revered as an incarnation of cosmic energy, whereas in the second, she's systematically brutalized, raped, and killed almost on a daily basis. According to NCRB data, as many as 33,356 incidents of rape were reported during 2018 alone, in almost 94% of these cases. The victim was a known offender. Good evening, everyone, and maybe not such a good evening when we are looking at such information. I welcome you all to our show, It Matters. Henry David Thoreau has said, "Any fool can make a rule, and any fool will mind it. Idealism is a mirage and a utopia. We thrive for it, but almost never achieve it. Laws are no exception." Macaulay drafted the Indian Penal Code in 1862. The provisions of rape have been poorly dealt with in the century-old IPC. The amendments of 2013 and 2018 came as a ray of hope, but it is disheartening to see that the sexual assault continues to take place on a daily basis. If 2018 had over tens of thousands of cases recorded, then we have not traveled a distance yet. The 2013 Criminal Amendment Act for fast-track courts was there, but nothing on the ground has changed. These courts exist more on paper, and justice is often denied. Low conviction rate due to a very big challenging criminal system. Policemen aren't trained. According to NCRB 2017 data, the conviction rate for the rape cases in India is 27.2%. Under the Criminal Amendment Act 2013, rapists are liable to life imprisonment, which is actually 14 years. Imprisonment for entire life and the death sentence only in rarest of rare cases. Let's have a look at the lacuna in the rape legislation. For example, marital rape, sexual acts committed by husbands with his wife. The wife not being if the wife is not under 15 years of age, is not considered a rape. It assumes that after the woman consents to marriage, she has consented to every action and decision by her husband. In an egalitarian society, we cannot let such rationale be the founding stone of the law. Rape laws lack gender neutrality. Albeit rape is a crime mostly inflicted upon women, even men sometimes fall prey to this heinous offense. There has to be at least one single provision in the Indian Penal Code which addresses male rape. A Human Rights Watch report suggests 22% of male inmates have been raped at least once during their incarceration. All right, Deepa, from your perspective, where do you think the biggest challenge is with the rape laws?
First of all, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to place my opinion before the quorum. So I see this particular scenario with a different perspective, that with the march of technology, and also we have a progressive society. So now the communication has, it has jumped leaps and bounds. And if you do a sample survey, you will find out that most of the cases pending before the district court, 80% of the cases have a cause of maybe the broken relationship, or where there was a promise to get married, or the failed relationship. So, obviously, there is no doubt about it that the real cases of rape are actually pending before the court. And if you see, the conviction rate of rape cases is only 2%. So the question remain unopened, is that, why the people, why the victim is also getting taking a favor by doing the matter compromised, or maybe sometimes, they get compound, or there is no efficient material to process the case further. So the question here is, section 375, I think, in my opinion, is not able to cope up with a certain scenario where the people come from like the class of educated society, and where they have eloped in a relationship, and further, and the guy promised to the lady that I'm going to marry you, and later on, because of some intervention, they did not turn up, and the marriage it does not consummate it, or whatever by the reason. But the thing is that later on, it is not a matter of a right for a lady to come up, and to say that the person has raped me. When you do a act, you are also supposed to know the consequences which should follow. So that is the basic question, and in my opinion, anybody, if he is getting into this sort of act, he should be punishable under section 420 for a cheating, or maybe for a criminal breach of trust, and we can prosecute the person. Let me just here bring to the limelight here a very famous case of Anurag Soni versus State of Chhattisgarh, where the judgment has been delivered by the Honorable Supreme Court in 2019, where it categorically said that there was a breach of promise and breach of trust, and the person should be tried for cheating. Anyhow, the person got convicted for 10 years of rigorous imprisonment. But the basic thin line difference between a rape and a sexual harassment cases is that the consent and a non-consent. Now we have to see whether the consent is taken by fraud, deception, cheating, because in this sort of cases, both of the adults were equally involved too. So later on, you cannot come up with the fact with a different story, and you cannot put a different story altogether before the court of law, or any enforcement agency, that I have been raped by a person who was being, he was known to
I,
me, and
I hear your point. I hear your point,
and
Deepa.
just
So I think you raise a very good point. You raise a very good point, and let
one
me come
point
back
I
to
would
you.
just like to
Sure.
highlight on this issue, Madam Yogita Bhawana has truly said that we don't have the infrastructure. But let me just add you one point here also. We don't know how to, get access of. If she says that, one of my friend was saying that, filing of FIR, registration of FIR is a big question mark. For that, we don't have to rely on the police officer. If the police officer is not registering your FIR, you can certainly approach the court under section 156(3) for filing of an FIR. And let me tell you, by the series of judgment delivered by the Supreme Court itself, we have number of guidelines where even the police officer can be, he can become in a box to question, and we can obviously screw him on
Sure.
the point that why there is a delay in filing of FIR. Number two, just give me a moment, please. I'll not take much time of yours. Number two, the medical examination. It is the duty of the police officer to get the medical examination done within a period of 24 hours. So you don't have to beg for any sort of infrastructure. The only thing is that you need to highlight. And further, you don't have to take accuse with yourself and go to the government hospital, because it comes under the purview of a police officer and also the medical authority to take the
I,
examination.
I hear you. I hear you, Deepa. So I think there are lots of challenges here. First of all, let's say a woman who's been raped walks into a police station. The police station is not listening to her anymore, which means for the first 24 hours are gone. He's not going to be taken to the hospital. Deepa, you're a lawyer. Can you highlight the laws that actually have the gap where the law presents to you, the ability to either, you know, you basically are not able. So let's say, one of the biggest issues obviously is about penetration, of, what parts of a woman do you penetrate, how much do you penetrate, what will be considered when you strip a woman naked, will that be considered rape or not? uh, so do you think that's a gap already there, or do you think there is another challenge to this?
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate the experience of Miss Bhavana, and let me just congratulate her that social activists and other people. In fact, we as a lawyer also, we are the makes a team, and we are the strong pillar of the democratic society also. And we are doing our selfless work, right? So the thing is that, let me just answer your question first of all very quickly, that the question of penetration or not, or disrobing a woman, or disclothing her. So the after the criminal amendment 2013, the definition and the section, it is so clear and so narrative that you don't have to get into so much. And on the bare reading of a section, you will get to know that what are the act conduct to a rape and what are not, because mostly the definition is itself very narrative. Number two, my point was that why we were bringing out this point, as she said, that promise of breaching the promise of marriage and criminal breach of trust or the fake relationship, because of the fact 80% of the cases, 80% of the cases are coming with this factor only, and in this way the actual genuine cases are suffering. That is what my point is.
I
The
agree.
actual
I
people,
agree.
the people who has to take, who are waiting for the justice to be delivered to them, they are waiting, they are lingering, they are running after, and there is so much to
It
harass
is, it
also.
is a good it
So
is a good
the
point.
thing the
Deepa, it is a good point. You're making a good point. What you're saying is, because we've left a scope for these false matters to come in, that is why the whole case gets suffered as well. And I think it is a very important, essential point.
And the
And I
word
actually
she
understand.
has used is the proper prosecution. So, madam, let me just tell you, the proper prosecution is not only for the victim. The proper prosecution and the right of defense is also for the accused. I am not in a favor of, person who commit a rape with maybe a young child and a lady. I am not in a favor of. But what I'm saying is that when you, as a matter of, when you have a right and you are exercising your right, you need to give right to the accused also, so that he can defend. Only then you will get to know what are the fake cases and what are the real cases.
Right to defense absolutely is a very much part of the legal system. With you again, and I think these are all issues that need to be highlighted. The police station should not be just about policemen. There need to be social workers. There needs to be that, layered policing, a very, very different sense of policing if we want to really make sure that people come and report issues properly. And beyond that, are able to get justice, and they need to feel confident. The police officers aren't trained. I remember there was a case in Delhi where I had to approach the police station and I had to speak to the police officer. Initially, they were very, very resistant in giving even the information. And I insisted and I explained what the situation was. It was one of the people who presses clothes, his child. I happened to know the family, and the man and the wife had come to me saying, we are not being helped. We don't know how to go about it. So I called Yogita and I said, Yogita, can you please help them out? And so I think that whole system needs to come together properly. The training has to be imparted properly. And then again, issues of, handling, samples, making sure that the tests are done properly, taking the woman into the hospital right away within the 24-hour period. As soon as the report happens, there needs to be like a separate section. I know many police stations where you can barely go and find women, and I'm talking, don't let's not look at big cities like Delhi, Bombay. Let's look at rural India, where a lot of these cases happen, and people have no bandwidth to even go to the police station and sometimes stand, and there are massive challenges around it. What is your one biggest challenge? If there was one thing you want to change, what would that be to start?
Rohit, we have discussed the challenges. I really wish that we had more awareness on this issue, as Abaji would also agree that we know the problem exists and we know the prevention is possible. It's just not that prevention is not there, cannot be implemented, but there is no action from the government side. In which country, you tell me, people say, why do you say that it is a problem of India only? But in which country worldwide you have seen victim pouring acid on herself or burning herself, the whole family is blown away? I mean, you can imagine, we are dealing with a serious crisis the other day about the 12-year-old child also. So we really need full on action on this particular prevention plan of sexual violence. Everybody should just focus on this right away, and do something about it. Not that when the cases like Nirbhaya happen and we do discussions, and especially to the media houses, I have a hand-folded request that focus on the real issues. Not okay, one celebrity has gone, we understand that is okay, but every day we are losing our daughters, the children are being violated. So I mean, we have bigger agendas to discuss. Discussions are
No,
important.
Yogita, that doesn't make any money for media houses. Media houses make money when they launch these celebrities and they want to keep going on and on. It's the cheapest way of doing news. And this has been a model for many news organizations globally. They don't want to concentrate on the big issue. They want to concentrate on issues where they will make money, and there will be a lot of money pouring in because of the number of eyeballs. But there's also a problem of the population. The population is looking for these populations. I don't know how many messages I've gotten asking, why aren't you covering Sushant? I'm like, where is the scope left for covering a story like that? There are channels back to back just covering that story. Not, there is one man who has died. Let's respect their privacy. Let's give them their privacy and make sure that justice prevails and the police does this investigation. While there are thousands of women getting raped and young girls lying in hospitals where they're not being taken care of. Yes, thank you very much, all of you. Abha, Deepa, Sonam, Yogita, without you guys, putting out and making the effort, we wouldn't even be here. We've come a long way from where we were even a few years ago. So thank you for joining me, and let's continue making sure that the fight against rape continues. Thank you for watching. Good night and good luck.